We play and call it work.
Hey folks, Janene from MiniWarGaming here with another how-to video for you. In this video, we are going to do a glowing effect on the face of this cannon. And we're going to use a lot of the colors that we did when we did our glowing effect on the sculpted chaos symbols of this Renegade Knight. But I want to have it be a little bit more centralized and show you guys the placement to make it really pop on a face like this with really defined cheekbones and sculpted features. As always, if you have suggestions for something you'd like to see in a future how-to video, please leave them down below in the comments. Our first step is going to be to take some Abaddon Black. We're going to mix the paint with Lamy and Medium, and we're doing that with all of our colors for this tutorial. And I want to apply this over the whole face. I'm doing this just to make sure that I have a really solid base coat of black, because I want the red to fade all the way to black at the edges. So I want to make sure that this gets into all the nooks and crannies and it covers any spray over that I had from maybe my earlier airbrushing steps. I just want a nice, really dark, solid black. Next, I'm going to take some Abaddon Black and I'm going to mix it with the color Doombull Brown. And this color is going to be the beginning of my really, really bright, glowy, warm colors. I want to start with this really dark burgundy red that I've created, and I'm going to pick out all of the details of the face. And then all of the more level recessed areas towards the outer edges, I'm going to leave a solid black. So I'm going to have my really bright colors be focused really towards the very middle. I'm going to have black in those lower recessed areas, and then I'm going to have a slow fade between all of the rest of the colors. I'm going to apply this on all of the details, leaving a little bit of black in some of the very, very deepest wrinkles of the face. But mostly I'm going to be covering just about everything else on the actual face itself with this color. It's going to be a lot easier for me to build up these colors step by step rather than trying to apply a really bright yellow on top of a black, for example. That's not going to work out very well. So I need to make sure that I've got thin paints, so I'm not going to build up too much texture on the model as I apply multiple layers. And as I apply it, I'm going to be applying each color in multiple controlled layers as well. Since I have the paint mixed with Lamy and Medium, it's going to be slightly sheer, slightly translucent. So as I build up the color, it requires me to apply it multiple times. And with each progressive layer, I want to paint slightly less of the model so that I'm really using that to help me layer and blend and create a smooth gradient. Alright, once I've created my base coat of that 50-50 paint, I'm going to use pure Doombull Brown. I'm going to be painting this on top of all of the areas that I just painted with my 50-50 mixture in the center of the face, on top of all of these features in the very middle. And then I'm going to be painting this over about 50% of that color as I get to these outer edges in the areas where I want it to fade to black. So the very middle, it's going over everything, brightening it up, getting it ready for my next brighter colors. And then on the outside, it's going to fade in to my darker colors. Now, when I painted the chaos symbols on this knight a little bit earlier, this Doombull Brown color was my base color. And so you can kind of see the difference of how much more intense this looks when I go all the way down to black versus when I go all the way down to a really dark red. It creates a slightly different effect, a slightly different feeling, and you can see the difference between both. My next color is going to be Mephiston Red. As I initially apply this, it's going to look really, really bright, and then it's going to tone down a little bit as it dries, just because that's the way the paint looks. It looks a little bit brighter as it's wet. And this is just going on these facial features. I'm not going to spread it out onto the sides of the cheekbones and those areas. I want to keep those dark. Next, I'm going up to Evil Sun Scarlett. At this point, you can see I'm switching to a smaller detail brush. I don't want to cover as much of the area with each stroke. I want to have a little bit more control. And I'm using this to start picking out just the high points of the face. I don't want it to go over all of the features. I want to really exaggerate the highest, most impactful features. So areas like the bridge of the nose, we've got these 2 furrowed brows on the top eyes. I want to get the lower lip of this eye in the very middle. I'm also going to get these front teeth and a little bit of the cheekbones on the second set of eyes as well. Next, we're going up to Wild Rider Red. This is a very natural red progression, and if I just wanted to have this be a red face, I could stop here and it would still look really interesting. In this case, I'm going to go all the way up to yellow, but if you just wanted to create an army that faded from black to red, this could be the steps that you use. This Wild Rider Red is just, again, going over all the areas that I painted with the Evil Sun Scarlett, but I'm continuing to concentrate it more towards the very center of the face. I'm probably covering about 60-70% of the Evil Sun Scarlet area, really bringing it to that middle. My next color is Troll Slayer Orange. Same thing with this color. I'm just painting the very center details, really paying special attention to the nose at this point and just the very top of this furrowed brow and the very tops of the teeth. I was considering leaving the eyes black, but I actually decided I want them to be really bright yellow. So I'm going to take this Troll Slayer Orange color and I'm going to paint all of the eyeballs. I want to make sure that on the lower 4 that are a little bit more deep in the eye socket, I leave a little rim of black around the entire eyeball. That will make them stand out a little bit more. And like I said, it's really hard to paint these really bright colors over black. So it's going to take me a lot of layers to build up a really bright orange on the eye, but I'm going to go ahead and take the time to do that, letting each layer dry before I apply another layer so that I'm not removing any paint as I try and build it up. The next brightest color is Fire Dragon Bright. At this point, I'm not putting a lot of this color on the face itself. I'm really just catching the bridge of the nose and some of the highest details, but I'm going to be putting a lot of this on all of the eyeballs. I want those to really be saturated with this color, just leaving the Troll Slayer Orange on the outer edges and covering almost the entire eye with this brighter orange. Next, we're going up to Uriel Yellow. I'm painting this quite heavily on the eyeballs, covering about 80% of the area. It's going to take me a couple layers to get a really nice solid color. Even though I'm putting this over an orange, yellow paint's still really hard to work with and takes several layers to really build up. And then I'm doing just a small line highlight in the middle of the face, really outlining some of the more intense wrinkles on the nose. And then we're going up to Flash Gets Yellow. This is probably going over about 50% of these eyeballs and just a little touch in the very middle of the face. The last thing I want to do is take just a little bit of Ceramite White. And this isn't going on the face at all, but I am going to use a small bit of it to add just a finer super highlight to the very top of all of these glowing eyes, just to kind of create a additional level of brightness there and make them even brighter than the rest of the face. All right, and with that final little bit of highlight, the glowing effect on this cannon is complete. I went ahead and painted the outer edges so you can really see where the darkest shades are on the sides. It really emphasizes how the glow goes all the way from black to white in the very brightest points. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more how-to videos, I have another one where I'm going to paint a little bit of flayed flesh that's sculpted on the back of this Renegade Titan in the MiniWarGaming Vault, and the link down below in the description. If you don't already have a Vault membership, you can go ahead and click the link, sign up for a 7-day free trial, and get access to my video, as well as hundreds of other videos in the MiniWarGaming Vault. So go ahead, click the link, sign up for your free trial, and happy wargaming!